Hello there guys, Feng here and welcome to Clockwork Empires. Okay, so for those of you that don't already know, Clockwork Empires is a colony simulation game that is kind of based around the Lovecraftian lore, which is really cool. I actually covered the game back in pre-alpha about a year back, and it was looking really promising. There were quite a few bad bugs, shall we say, but that's kind of expected from pre-alpha. It's currently in alpha 43. Now I haven't actually played this for about 6 or 8 months. It's been a while, and I figured I'll give this a try and see what's new. There's a ton of stuff. There's a lot of ton of new content. The AI seems a hell of a lot better than what it was, and also the optimization of the game seems a hell of a lot better as well. There's still some kinks here and there. There's a few frame drops here and there, but that's to be expected, you know. Usually optimizations in games lives don't come until later on in development, so I'm really happy about that. Really happy. But the good news about that is that I can give you this video in all of its 1080 60 frames per second glory. Yay! That's assuming it doesn't lag. Okay, so these Clockwork Empires is by the same dudes that gave you Dungeons of Dredmor, Gaslamp Games. Dungeons of Dredmor was a fantastic roguelike. Did really successful, and there is some kind of roguelike elements to the game as well. But one of the major things that I absolutely loved about this particular game was the characters. I mean, each character is different. They've got different needs. There's a lot of stuff going on with the game. And with this particular update as well, a lot of the UI elements and stuff with the characters have actually been changed up quite a bit. So, shall we just crack onto the game? I think we should. So, the options menu is exactly the same as it was back in pre-alpha. Music off, auto saves on, you know, that's all you've got as options for the time being. There is a separate launcher that you can change your, obviously, window sizes and stuff, as well as your sound. No music because YouTube doesn't like music. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we? Oh, it didn't crash that time. Fantastic. I've already tried doing this video twice, by the way, guys. Every time I press new game, it's crashed, so yeah. By the way, did I mention this was an alpha? Yeah, expect bugs and crashes and random shit to happen. Okay. So, one of the major things that I noticed straight away when I first picked this back up again was you have now access to 10 different loadouts. That's fantastic, because back in the day you only had access to one, and it was pretty boring. You know, you'd always get the same kind of startup kit, which was a bit annoying. Now you've got access to 10, and they're pretty major. There's some pretty major differences between them. So, obviously you've got this first one, which is 6 Overseers, 1 NCO. That's kind of a new mechanic. I'll talk about that when we get into the game. But we've got building materials, 3 days of food, ingots of iron and copper, and a spare pistol. You've got you've got this one, which is a well-rounded stock of provisions intended for seasoned colony managers. So you get more advanced building materials, slightly less stuff, like I need the iron ingot of iron instead of the copper, and just a spare pistol. And then you've got labour. You've got tons. I mean, probably one of the harder ones is probably this one. This one is extremely difficult. As you can see, you don't start off with anything except for the 6 Overseers and 1 NCR, which is fantastic. Really difficult. This one's a really good one. You get a full week's supply of food and no building materials, so that's fantastic. But we're gonna go with the this particular one. Just add labourers, instant colony. The reason why we're going to do that is because it's gonna allow us to start off a little bit quicker for the video, so that's fantastic. Now there is 2 locations at the moment. This one is the standard, you know, grassland, prairie, forest, and this one is more the tropical forest and swamps and stuff like that. There's not too much difference between them, apart from obviously different types of wildlife spawn and different types of forestry spawns as well. So we're just going to stick with this one. We're going to go with the labourer, just the labourers, and we're going to set course for adventure, and hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay, so just take a while to load. It used to anyway, so I'm not really bothered about that. Just take a little bit of a while to load, but once it's loaded, you know, you haven't got to load it again, so that's fine. It does take a while for it to kind of just pop up the message, which is what I'm waiting for now. So, come on, come on, yay! Okie dokie. So, your travels have seen you on an airship over frosty peaks, and you've had to remind yourself quite a few times that a proper leader always keeps a smile on their face. This is always different, by the way. Always different. This is, which is fantastic. Nice bit of flavour to it. Alright, so let's just actually pause straight away. Actually, let's just let that come there. There we go. Okay. Welcome to Clockwork Empires. This is the game. So, the first thing you'll notice that we have a lot of provisions and stuff here, which was airdropped, which is fantastic. Alright. So the UI is roughly the same, but there have been some new tweaks. As you can see, we've got a lot of stuff down here. We've got our buildings, our modules, zones and constructions, commands and military. These don't actually have a lot of stuff associated with them yet, these particular two. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to make a stockpile. We need a stockpile to start off with, otherwise we're not going to be able to get stuff. So let's see, where should we put the stockpile? This is actually a really bad starting area. It's very hilly. You can flatten the terrain now, which didn't used to be in the pre-alpha. So I'm just thinking where we should plonk it. Maybe we should start over here. It's a bit more. I'll tell you, I'm going to plonk it over here. So if we start off over here, we're going to plonk it here. So we need to drag it out. And yeah, that's big enough. There we go. Fantastic. Now, let's take a look at these other things. So we've got, yeah, let's take a look at the work crew. So this is majorly changed from the last time. So as you can see, you've got an unassigned worker pool here, and we've got our overseers. Now, the overseers are basically kind of the leaders of their particular profession. So as you can see, all of these don't actually have the best skill yet, except for obviously our military man, which obviously does have the art of war. So each individual overseer can have 4 like labourers working for them. So as you can see, we've already got a labour for this one, and labour for this one, and labour for this one. But we don't have it for endeavours yet. We will change that very shortly. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and focus around basically surviving for the first few days. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, let's go ahead and make sure that our military man has got hunting labelled, and we're also going to, because our military man is only going to be there just to make sure that, you know, nasty things don't come and get us. So while he's doing nothing and just standing around just basically defending the area, we're going to make sure he's doing hunting, because obviously he already got access to a gun. But we're also going to make sure that he can haul as well, because let's face it, he's not going to be hunting 24/7, and he's not going to be defending 24/7. So I might as well get him to do something useful like hauling. We're now going to make sure that we've got some farms. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to unassign these workers, and I'm going to assign them to these here. So farms have had a massive change to them. Before, all you had to do was just build a farm, hover over it, pick what crop you want, and then it would get done. And it would always be a set amount of crops that were grown. That's completely changed now. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to make sure that there's 3 people working on the farms. So I'm going to make sure that all these particular overseer is doing is farming. So the overseer and all the labourers will just be focused on farming. So we need to now actually go ahead and start building the farm. Would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Alright. So what we're going to do is I wonder where I should put the farm actually. I think we're going to plonk some over here. So I'm going to go ahead and probably build about 3 different farms to start off with. Actually no, 2 should suffice. So we're going to make a small one there. Now if you click the farm, this menu pops up. Now this is a really nice interactive menu. You can see what crops you can actually grow. There's quite a different amount. But not only that, you can actually see how much labour is required for it, how much the crop will actually yield, as well as the actual rate it will grow. Really good, really good. So we're going to try and just go for a medium labour, basically medium all around. So we're going to start off with going maize for the first farm, and then for the second, that's flatten, for the second farm, which I'm going to plonk over here, we're going to go ahead and grow some pumpkins. Okay, so we got medium labour, medium, medium. That's fine. Once we get more labourers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start growing some of the more exotic stuff like wheat. Wheat's really good. It's really useful for stuff like alcohol, which we'll be making a lot later on. But you can also grow some of these other stuff as well. So we've got opium poppy. I think that's for the chemistry lab, and you can make stuff from it. You know, I haven't actually got that far to actually do any of that yet, so we'll see. Green bamboo. This is an alternative for chopping down trees. Very good alternative if you are in a place where there's not a lot of trees, or if you've already cut down a vast majority of the forestry. Flax plants. You know, you can actually make them into cloth, which is fantastic. Cloth is needed for quite a few things like beds, so pretty important. So there we go. So we've got 3 workers working on that. The reason why we've got so many is because the farming is very labour intensive. Even though it only says medium, it still is labour intensive. So we'll make sure that's fine. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure we got someone who is focused just on construction. So I think this is going to be Upfish Sander's crew job. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and make sure he's got a worker helping him out. Just going to make sure that he can haul jobs as well, because he's not always going to be constructing. So making sure he's got something else to do is fine. And to be quite honest, I think that might just be it. I'm not going to bother with the others. The others can just stay as a general worker. As long as I've definitely got someone farming, then that's fine. So we're going to unpause and we're going to let this play it for a little bit. We are going to need some wood. So let's go ahead and start chopping down some of these trees. We're also going to need to forage. So let's go ahead and start foraging some of these mushrooms. You can also forage some bushes, berry bushes, except we don't seem to have any berry bushes at all. On the plus side, we've got a load of stone here. That is actually really fantastic. So we can start going ahead and start mining the surface. That's stone. That's going to be really useful. We are going to need some clay. Oh, there's clay right there. That's fantastic. So we're going to also go ahead and start mining those. Okay, so the new job interface is actually pretty cool as well. So as you can see, these are all the jobs that I've set to everyone, you know. So basically, if a workforce is free, then they'll try and do the next job as long as it's something that they're supposed to be doing. So obviously, the one that I've designated as farmer is not going to go and chop down trees. Obviously, they're just going to focus on farming because that's what I told them to do. In fact, I might go ahead and actually build another farm, because I think they might actually get this done a bit quicker than I anticipated. Yeah, let's do that. So if I go ahead and actually start thinking about maybe growing some wheat there. There we go. Fantastic. Farming is really important to start off with. Very important. Especially once you have used up all your foraging, you know, all your mushrooms and stuff. And I'm surprised there's no berries anywhere. That's really unusual. Very unusual indeed. So we'll let them work for a bit now. I need to make sure that we've got a building going on. So let's actually start off with a carpentry workshop. Building this first is pretty essential. You need planks for basically everything, every kind of construction, near enough. So it's definitely worthwhile building one. I'm actually not going to build it there. That seems like a silly idea. I'm actually going to go ahead and build it more near the trees. And I'm also going to make sure that we've got a separate stockpile for that as well. So I think if I plonk them here, I want to build it not huge, but enough so that I can get maybe 1 or 2 workshops. Yeah, 1 or 2 workstations in, workbench even, sorry. That's what I meant. We're also going to go ahead and, just for the time being, because we're not going to be able to build a house for a while, and people are going to get really pissed off if they've got nowhere to sleep, we're going to actually build a few cots in here. So I'm going to go ahead and build 1 and 2. There we go. So we're going to build 2 cots in there just to make sure that someone can actually, at least 2 people can actually get some rest during the night. Not everyone will work all hours. You can actually set that on the crew works. You can actually designate people to work during night shifts if you want. If you are really cruel, you could basically get them to work all through the day. But trust me, that's not a good idea. One of the major things of the game is is the actual characters. As you can see, the UI has completely changed from what it was pre-alpha. Completely changed. You've now got your happiness bar, anger bar, fear bar, sadness bar. Obviously, the higher the happiness, the more happy they are. The higher the anger bar, the more likely they are to lash out and stuff. Fear, if there's a lot of fear, then they're not going to really do much. And sadness, obviously, that's self-explanatory. There's also the madness bar. If people get too mad, they might start forming cults and stuff like that. Not necessarily a bad thing, but usually it is. And you get all kinds of weird shit. You can actually get rid of that by making alcohol, but alcohol you can't really make until a lot later on. But each individual character has also got traits, desires, afflictions, and property. Obviously, property we're not going to have at all at the moment because we don't have any houses. We haven't got the capacity to build any houses yet, so we'll leave that. But as you can see, this one has pioneering spirit, so this character is happiest outdoors, pioneering in the pioneer escape. They work well with animals, dead or alive. Fantastic. So this one's actually probably would have been a decent hunter, but you know. Staunch traditionalist, this person is more likely to become unhappy when people around him act outside of the traditions and customs of the Clockwork Empires. Stiff upper lip and all that, what? So, yeah. She wants to try out a more exotic kind of meat. These are the desires as well. If you fulfill desires, then they become obviously happy, so that's pretty good. Here we go, we've finally got a bit of hunting going. So, as you can see, our military man is finding a good place to shoot. Oh dear, the yak is actually going mad. Now, here's one of the new things. There's actually these elf bars and morale bars. These are really cool. So these weren't in the pre-alpha, but whenever anyone is in combat, that includes obviously both military people and non-military people, you'll see two bars. The red one is the health, and the yellow one is the morale. Obviously, the lower the morale, the more likely they are to flee. As you saw then, our farmer fled because obviously the yak was, well, we tell you, yak it's an Orrock, isn't it? Am I right? Yeah, it's an Orrock. So the Orrock actually attacked her. So yeah, but obviously our military man is more designed to actually go ahead and start killing, and he's designated to have a bit of a beating. So unfortunately, we didn't kill it. Oh. But we might kill this one, possibly. Oh my god. Is he slow? I'm just wondering if he's actually slow. No, he hasn't. He's actually just got a normal military training trait, which is really, really weird. But there you go. He's now butchering, and we've now got some food, which is fantastic. We can also use the bone as well, so if we can forage the skull, we can also get some bone meal from it. Fantastic. Now, as you can see, we've actually managed to get this up and running now, so I'm going to just toggle the basic view mode. There we go. So here we go, we've now got our first workshop. It's not completely done yet though, we still need the workbench, but once the workbench is done, we can then designate one of our overseers to start cutting up them wood for planks, which we need for other stuff. So we'll let that finish off, and then we'll pause it, we'll assign, and we'll also start working on our kitchen. Kitchen is probably the second most important building we're going to need. And it seems okay for the time being. No one's attacking each other yet, which is a good sign. I really hoped we could have got at least one of those beds finished, but you know, that's life, I guess. And now, of course, people are going to be idle. It's night time. They don't want to work. I haven't set them to work during the night, so that's fine. So they'll just have a rest and a bit of a natter and whatnot. So yeah, and it's now done, which is fantastic. Right, let's assign. So obviously none of our work crews have actually got any experience in anything yet, except for obviously our military men. So let's go ahead and start with Merle. This is changed as well. This is actually really cool. In the pre-alpha, you could only build a certain amount of stuff. Now you can build up to a certain amount of stuff, which is even better. Really, really good. So I want to always make sure that we've got, I believe, 10 planks will do. Actually, no, 12. Always make sure there's 12. So Merle will now come and get all the logs that he can get. Well, he'll do it one by one, obviously, but he'll get a log, he'll turn it into a plank, he'll stick the plank somewhere, and blah 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 blah. In fact, what I forgot to do well, it's changed the stockpile. So for this particular stockpile, this is just going to be for food and stuff. So I'm going to disable building materials. I need to disable tools and weapons, and I don't know if that's food. I don't think it is. Let's just disable that and disable more resources. Okay, so this is just going to be for food and drink and other commodities. Yeah? Okay. So the next one, the other stockpile, which I need to find. There we go, stockpile. So I'm probably going to plot this... Now, that was silly. I actually put the door that side. It doesn't matter because I can always make another door. That's not a big deal. But we're going to put the other stockpile over here, like so. And this one is not to accept food and drink. But everything else is fine. I'm going to have to go ahead and reassign that door. In fact, I think I can actually move that module. I'm pretty sure I can. Hang on, let's just check. Can I move it? I can move it. No, well, maybe not. I could have sworn that. Yeah, I can move it. So we're going to move that over there instead. Maybe. Can I move it over there, please? Let me bloody move it over there. Hang on, do I have to turn it? No, it won't. No, it won't let me. For fuck's sake. There we go. Okay. That's weird. That was really weird. Hang on. Right, it's about there. Can I move it there? Can I move it there? Right. Well, that might be a bug, or maybe it's because I can't actually do that. I don't know at this point, but it seems to be broke. Let me just cancel. I can't cancel it. Oh no. Oh no. I might have found a bug, guys, and it's probably one that I'm not going to be able to get out of. Hang on. Oh, you fucking tosser. Why did you have to do this? Right, okay, I think I've fixed it by doing that. Yeah, I have. Okay, so this is going to have 2 doors now. Okay. Yeah, so that particular interface is a bit wonky at times. You try and move the mouse somewhere and it decides to go somewhere else instead, you know, like it did then, and sometimes rotating it doesn't work either all the time, so. But at least now we've got a bit of space. That's absolutely bloody hilarious. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, because there's nothing going on at the moment. Oh shit. Hang on. Why is that door there? Why is the door there? Oh shit, I think I broke it. Oh dear. Oh dear. Can I move it? I can't even move it now. Oh well, let's have a door right there. That's I suppose that's fine. So we've already brought the game 10 minutes in. Well, probably 20 minutes in now. So that's a good start. And yeah. So basically we're just waiting for daytime. So I'm gonna put a cut in here, and I'll see you next episode where we will start to work on our kitchen and other stuff.